Good morning.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're all here today. We're going to be sharing a little bit further down the road. In fact, we're going to be doing a ritual together. One you guys have done with me before. Some of you have done with me before on Easter in the sanctuary. But for right now, we're going to get started with an opening invocation. There is only one power, one presence. There is only one. And we are this one. We are this power, this presence. We come together to remember this. Remember the truth of who we are. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and there's a lot going on within each of us, but it is no different than any other time in our lives that we come together. We come together to remember the truth, remember who we really are, powerful, creative, spiritual beings. We come together so that we can embrace this in this time, especially in this time when we need it most, when we need to remember how powerful and creative we can be when anything of circumstance is going on. We are health, we are well-being, we are wholeness. We come together today to remind ourselves of this. And I am just so grateful to have you all here with me together because we are all in this together. And so it is.
Woke up this morning, I suddenly realized we're all in this together. I started smiling, 'cause you were smiling, and we're all in this together. I'm made of atoms, you're made of atoms, and we're all in this together. And long division just doesn't matter, 'cause we're all in this together. Yeah. I saw you walking in the city. We're all in this together. The city's changing, we are changing, and we're all in this together. Every 12 seconds, someone remembers that we're all in this together. In the kitchen of your rent control apartment, we're all in this together. Come on, baby, I don't mean to rush you. I only wanted to reach out and touch you. I've got to start to open my heart. I know you think about jumping ship before it sinks, but we are all in this together. Ask a scientist, it's quantum physics. We are all in this together. And on the subway, we feel like strangers, but we're all in this together. Yeah, I love you, and you love her, and she loves him, but we are all in this together. You know, baby, there's never been protection in all the history of human connection. Come on, darling, it's alright to show me you don't ever need to be lonely. Once you start to open your heart.
Once you start to open your heart, you know that we are all in this together. And that's the key here, to come together. And here we are, Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday, we are here and we are not alone. None of us are alone. We all have each other to be here, to join together in this moment, in this way. So we're going to be doing a ritual today, and you're going to need a few things. If you don't have them, you need a candle and you need a touch of oil. I got mine on a little platter here. So you just need those two things. If you don't have them, take a little time now, go get them. It's important to have those things for when we do this ritual that is ours to do together. So in the meantime, let's remember who we are. And one of the ways in which we do that is with our identity prayer. This prayer is not just an affirmation. It is a destination, as we all know, because imagine yourself feeling like this every day of your life. Imagine feeling like this now as you're stuck in your apartment or house or wherever you are, wondering, am I ever going to get out of here? Are we ever going to get back to normal? And I want to be clear, we are never getting back to normal. Things will be different after this is over. But what we have is a other than normal way of being. And we do that with what I call our identity prayer. Let me bring that up for you now. Maybe. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. You should all be able to see that. Let's say this together. I know that within myself, there is that life which is perfect, complete, divine. It was never born and cannot die, for it lives and is God. Within myself is the wholeness, peace, poise, and power of life. This life is health, it is abundance, it is love. There is one life. It is the life of God, and this is my life now, and so it is. All right. For those of you watching on the video stream on Facebook Live, you can still join this ritual. You don't have to be in the Zoom room. Just have a candle and a little bit of oil. That's all you need. And we can do this from wherever you are on the planet. But for right now, we're going to go into sacred space. Ash, please take over.
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hey!
So I think many of you know I'm in ministerial school, so I'm taking a deep dive with our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, and I found this wonderful service that he gave on Easter in 1951. So a lot of my comments today are definitely inspired by that talk that he gave. Today is such a beautiful celebration, a triumph of the Spirit, the ongoing of the Spirit and expansion of the mind. Just like Jesus said, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. This life in these bodies is but a temporary thing and a vast and an eternal expansion of the soul. We are all immortal, and what a thing to celebrate that is. And I am so grateful, not for the exception that Jesus was, but for the example he was for all of us, showing us that we are truly immortal beings, that our spirits live on, and knowing that life is an eternal progression, never less, always more than itself. There is nothing we can do to destroy this. No death, no virus, nothing can destroy it. And I invite you to close your eyes now. And I'd love to bring forth and share with you the words of Khalil Gibran, probably one of my first inspirations on this spiritual path. This is from his profound book, The Prophets. It's an excerpt. So just closing your eyes now and hearing these words. We ask now of death. And he said, you would know the secret of death. But how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. And in the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb again. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance. Happy Transformation Day. Happy Easter. And so it is.
And so it is. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Ash. And let's breathe that in. The beauty and knowing of our beingness. And as Ash said, there is nothing that can take away our spiritual knowingness of the truth of who we are. Michael, would you like to lead us in treatment?
Sure. So let's all just take a moment and breathe into knowing that right here, right now, all there is one. One power, one presence, one truth, one beauty, one love, one abundance, one health, one prosperity, one universal mind and infinite power and presence. And I know that I am that truth, that beauty, that love, that health, that joy, that happiness. That laughter, that prosperity, that abundance, that one mind, that one presence, that one beingness. I am God, and I know that this community comes together, and I know that we join together in love and happiness and joy and transformation. And as we go deeper, we rise higher. And as we rise higher, we transcend and transform and transmute and become a beacon, leading the way for others to rise. And I give great thanks for all the good that flows to us because of this. All the prosperity, all the abundance, all the health, all the joy, all the happiness, all the love, all the beauty, all the truth, everything that serves us and raises us. And so with a grateful heart, I release this into the action of law, knowing that it is whole, it is complete, it is done. As I simply say, and so it is.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'll be right back.
We really are going to talk amongst ourselves. Look, Cliff has become Ashley.
I'm back. Hey, y'all, I'm back. My computer died. Is that cool or what?
Don't worry, it will be resurrected.
That's right. I don't see your pointer. There it is. Okay, so if everybody will mute, we'll move on to the next part of our program. But there are a bunch of you not muted right now. You don't have host capability.
No.
I want you, while I'm doing this, will you please just shut off, do you know how to shut off my computer?
Uh-huh.
Shut it off, please. And then turn it back on. All right, somehow, let's see. Well, this probably cut off the Facebook Live thing. No, it says we're still live. Woohoo! That's good. Okay, let's go on with our ritual. But first, let me talk to you. The rituals we're going to be doing today are over 6,000 years old. Now, this is important to understand that they didn't start with Jesus. He was a part of a much larger way of being that started with an incredibly simple question. Why does the sun leave the sky? This big bright light they saw so many years ago. They kept asking the question, why do we have night? Where does it go? What is this God that brings us this night every day? And so there was no science. There was no calculations. It was just them looking up at the night sky and then watching this God-like presence we call the sun rise every day and wondered, what is this? And so they developed ways of being with this to help comfort them, to help them to feel better about their lives and the ways of being. And here we are, stuck in our homes, wondering the same thing. How do we be with this? How do we be? Now, we know what the sun is now. We even know what this virus is from a scientific point of view. But there's something in our psyche that understands a deeper truth, that we are connected to something beyond what we can understand. And we want that connection. And somehow they discovered so long ago that that connection begins with light, that everything goes through the light, that darkness cannot live once there is light, that darkness is nothing once there is light. And so when we are feeling the, I don't know about you guys, but me sometimes being stuck in my apartment, I feel like a caged animal just wanting to burst out and break out and go running down the street and find woods. and so, thank you, Jeff. And so what I do then, what I remember is the truth of who I am. I sit and I meditate. I personally like walking meditations as well, so that I can feel that truth within me. This spiritual practice we have is so important. This spiritual connection and knowing is so important, especially in times like these. We are human beings, but we are so much more than that. And when we forget that we're more than that, that's when fear comes in. That's when anxiety comes up and tries to run us. That's when we can be at our worst, is when we forget that we are powerful, creative, spiritual beings having a human experience. And so the candle represents that light that is within us, within everything. So what I want you to do now is light your light. Take your lighter, take your candle, and light your light. And as you do so, remind yourself, I am this light. This light is not separate from me. I am this light. This light is not separate from me. Say it. I am
this light.
Alcid, can you mute? I am this light. I am not separate from this light. I am this light. I am not separate from this light. I am this light. I am not separate from this light. I am this light. I am not separate from this light. And when we remember that we are not separate from this light, we remember that neither is anybody else. And that's the beauty of this. Simply by knowing this light, somebody's unmuted. Simply by knowing this light, that we are this light, we know that everyone, every being, every essence is this light too. I am light. We are all this light. Everyone is this light. Every being, tree, ant, creepy crawly things, birds in the skies, the rocks, the air we breathe, the water we drink. Everything is this light. And I am this light. And so the next part of this is the anointing process, which again is over 6,000 years old, because people knew that they could be born again, be refreshed, be renewed in their truth. And that is what's key here. We get to be reborn and renewed in our own truth of beingness when we anoint ourselves and each other. Now, many of you know, as we do this at the sanctuary, we take the time to anoint each other. But here, we're going to anoint ourselves. Here, take a drop of oil. Take a drop of oil and put it in the center of your forehead, saying, I am the anointed one. I am the one who has come here. I am the one I've been looking for. I am the anointed one. I am the one I've been waiting for. I am the anointed one. I am the one I've been waiting for.
I need to redo it there.
I am the anointed one.
I didn't.
I am the one I've been waiting for. You can unmute and do this. We can all do this together. Unmute. I
I
Anointed one.
am
I am the one I've been waiting.
I am the one I've been waiting for.
I
am the one
the
I've
anointed
been
one.
waiting for.
I am the one I've been waiting for.
I am the one I've been waiting for.
I am
I
the
am the
anointed
one
one.
I've been waiting for.
I am the
I
one
am
I've
the
been
I'm
waiting
the
for.
one I've been waiting for.
And as we look around at each other, we are here with anointed beings because each of us is the one we've been waiting for. Each of us coming together in this way is the one we've been waiting for. Breathe that in. Easter is a time of rebirth, renewal, arising to the truth of who we are. Each of us gets to have a new day. Each of us. I'm sorry? *6 to mute the phones if the phones are not muted, because it might be the phones that are doing that. Press *6 if you're on the phone. Let us remember the truth of who we are in this time when we need to remember so badly. Each of us has power. Each of us has presence. Each of us has the ability to rise. And this is the day we begin it. It begins now, right now. That's why we come together like this. That's why you on Facebook Live are looking for this, to remind ourselves of the truth. Each of you out there is the anointed one. Each of you out there is the one you've been waiting for. Each of you out there has the power and presence to change and shift and grow right here. Transformation does not rectify, it transmutes. What that means is nothing in the physical world has to change for you to become the spiritual being you are, for you to live and work and move and act as that spiritual being. A friend of mine once said, "We are all gods. It's time for us to act like it." This is the time for that. This is the time to remember each and every day, one day at a time, who we truly are and who we have come here to be. That is my offering for today. When I open the floor now for anyone who wants to share, this is the time. You can unmute and take your time to share what it is you have come here to share. Anyone?
Yes, Reverend Cliff, I would just like to speak on behalf of all the practitioners that we are here to offer our support and treatment to anyone who would like to have treatment at this time. Because we know that as we come together this Easter morning, we create a synergy and an energy that celebrates through a higher consciousness that is a magnetic field that is in and through us. As together we rise up, as it opens and aligns us to a peace beyond our understanding and a love and a faith that sustains us and never fails to answer our every prayer. So we rise up with the Christ consciousness and with all the ascended masters in gratitude and celebration of all life. And so I would like to extend a happy Easter through this time that we are come together to celebrate.
Wow, somebody's got quite the ringing.
Whoever's 818-842-8812, please turn off your thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from.
It's 842-8812. Whoever you are, please turn off your microphone. Technology.
Jeff, would you like to share since you're on anyway?
I don't know. I don't have anything to share. I'm sorry. I just trying to enjoy my pandemic. It's been quite an experience. I almost feel guilty when I enjoy myself sitting at home. So it's like I'm not supposed to be having so much fun, right? And I'm with you. Getting out in the woods would change everything right now. Nature, you miss nature more than a lot of things, more than even hugging, which I miss a lot.
Sign on, and you don't need it.
Who's 842-8812?
It's 884. It's not 842.
Oh, 884, 82, yeah, whatever that says. There, it's gone. They got the message. I see Shelly going, yeah! Yeah, I know.
Cliff,
Yes.
it's Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello. I'm on the phone today.
Thank you for coming in and sharing.
Yeah, Jeff, I agree with you. I've gotten a little cabin fever, but I just go pick up a book I'm reading, or, you know, I've been cleaning out my closet and doing laundry, and it's like I'm getting so many things done, which if I weren't here,
lowercase,
told to be here, I might not be getting done. And so I'm really thankful for that. And Cliff, I have to say that I don't feel stuck. I feel so grateful for everything I have. And this pandemic has absolutely brought that out. So a lot of us, and I do in my own life sometimes, take life so much for granted. And now I'm saying, you know what? I've got so much in my life. I have so much that I can do. I've been gardening on my patio, which I haven't had time to do up until now. So it's an interesting experience, and I would like it to be over. I don't want to do this for a huge long time, but I'm going to enjoy it while I've got it. And that's what I get to share. I would like to get back in one room with everybody, though. I miss my hugs. I miss my hugs deeply.
Me too. I miss the hugs. You know, Ginny brings up the most wonderful point about, you know, finding those things to do that can really support this time, whether it be gardening. I mean, I too, you know, well, I'm an outdoors guy, so being inside is not as easy for me. But I do love the way it's supporting me to rise. I do love how there's more to this than I can see, and how Ash and I and our relationship keeps advancing and growing through that which is ours to do.
You still want to listen?
Yeah.
Yeah, share, please.
I can hear better.
Oh, Ashley's back.
Doing little technical things behind the scenes.
Oh, there's Cliff Nutter. It's weird. It's whack-a-mole. You disappear from one, come to the
Honey, you have to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. So this is the part of the program. Does anybody else, unless there's somebody else who wants to share, is there anybody else who wants to share? If so, unmute. This is a good time to do it. All right, then let's go to the part of the program where we pray on one of us. This is a good time for you to, you know, decide who you want to be shared on. Anybody? Let us pray on you, because if you let us pray on you, you're not just receiving, you're giving to all of us. When one of us allows us to pray on you, it allows all of us to pray together. So come on, somebody pop up and say, you can pray on me, please. Okay, well, you know, I can just sit here all day. Yeah.
Okay. Can you pray for my son? He's been having some medical issues, and we're waiting to get approved for Medi-Cal, and it's still pending. So we haven't been able to go get any blood work or anything like that. So I just want prayers for my son, Dion.
Absolutely. That's beautiful and perfect. All right. Ash, where are you? Everybody take a deep breath, close your eyes, and relax. And as always, we start by feeling that love energy inside our own hearts. We start by knowing the truth inside ourselves, that healing, love, energy inside us. And now we let it expand throughout our entire bodies, feeling that love energy throughout every cell of our body. And now we join together, all our energies, including you folks on Facebook, feeling the group, the family, the spiritual community energy all together. As we now send it to Clorinda's son, knowing his health, his well-being, knowing that every cell of his body is vibrating with this divine energy of health, is in line with the health of the universe, right here and right now.
My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you. My soul sings out to you, my love. My soul sings out to you.
And I am so grateful for the power and presence that we bring together, that we remember together as we flow that through Clorinda's son, knowing the truth for him right here and now. There is power in spiritual community. There is love. There is an essence, a presence that happens when we come together like this. And it absolutely shifts, transmutes, and transpires conditions right before our very eyes. So I know Clorinda's son is healthy. I know that he is well, that everything vibrates in the divine. And I release this knowing it to be so, as we all say together. And so it is.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I am just so grateful for a spiritual community that prays together, that comes together, where we get to feel this light together, the light of the divine. You know, it's not an empty
Too close? Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Sorry.
It is not an empty thing when we come together and pray. It is power. It is presence. It's not an empty thing when we light a candle to remind ourselves. This is not just a ritual for Easter. It's one you can do every morning. You know, in the Native American tradition, they talk about the different directions. And we are in the direction of the East in Native American tradition. The totem of the East is the eagle. The eagle flies the highest of any other being on earth and sees the biggest view. That's why the Native Americans so covet that totem, the eagle. And that is what we can do. Each of us has the capacity to soar. Each of us has the capacity to be and see and feel and know that we are more than we think we are. It's easy. It's easy for me to get caught in my smaller self, to think, oh my God, I'm trapped. And then remembering the truth. There are those in the world who don't have the spiritual tools that we do. And this is what we get to have for ourselves in these times, to remind ourselves, to ground ourselves in the fact that as we are grounded, we are also flying high. This is the time of the East, the spring. This is the time of new beginnings. This is the time of planting seeds. And I had before our technical difficulties, I actually had a great planting seeds song for you guys. But that's gone now. So here we are doing what we're doing. Me knowing the truth for each of you. There'll be no more music today because of our technical difficulties, but we have each other. And this is the time I ask you to give. I ask you to give generously to support our ministry so that we can show up. Whoop. I forgot. I don't even have our identity, our affirmation, okay. This is the time I ask you to give. Normally I would be able to show you an affirmation. Instead, I will just say it for you. God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. What I give, I receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am, and so it is.